Hello everybody and welcome to Star Citizen. Today is my first commentated video and I'm very excited to bring this one to you. This is the first of many, hopefully, and in today's video I am going to be giving you a quick showcase of the first 3 combat gauntlets for the Gillys Flight School scenarios which came out with Invictus Fleet Week. Sorry, I just had to quickly pop my helmet on. I am terrible at remembering to keep my helmet on these days. The amount of times I leave a ship into EVA and end up choking to death because I didn't have my helmet on, that happens way too often. Anyway, so in order to pick up these contracts, you need to go to the Contracts tab on your Mobiglass, find the Mercenary tab, and then scroll down and find these Combat Gauntlet scenarios. There are 8 different scenarios to do. I'm going to be showcasing the first 3. And these are basically just a quick tutorial on various different scenarios in combat with ship-to-ship fighting. You can see the list of them there. You've got single target, multi-target, target priority, stealth, all that kind of good stuff. You do gain some money for doing these, and you also gain some Mercenary Guild script. So if you're interested in doing anything with Wicklow, if you want to gain any of his favours for this patch, then you'll need quite a lot of script. But one other thing to be aware of as well is that 4.2 is on its way. It is the 2nd of June right now as I'm recording this, and this is probably maybe a week, maybe 2 at a push when the patch comes out for 4.2, so these scenario missions might not be sticking around. A lot of people in my org, myself included, actually thought that these combat scenarios were going to go at the end of Invictus Fleet Week, so we're actually quite happy that they're still around because you can make some good money from doing these. For those of you who are interested, for these first few scenarios, I am going to be flying a completely stock Arrow, an Anvil Arrow. That is the ship I'm in. I've just turned off one of the coolers to put all the power on my weapons, my engines and my shields to full. I do have 2 337 Panther repeaters, which are size 3 laser guns, and I do have the 2 Yellow Jacket Gatling guns, which are on the top of my ship. And I'm going to be using the laser ones for the majority of these scenarios, as I don't want to run out of ammo on the Gatling guns too quickly. I'm just going to quickly take off from New Babbage, which is my home city for this patch. And again, a lot of you veterans are probably sat there looking at me thinking, why the heck have you chosen Microtech as your home planet for this patch? I don't know, it was a bad mistake. I like New Babbage, it's a very good looking city. I like taking off from it and having that kind of sprawling cityscape out in front of you when you take off from a hangar. But yeah, I have to say that jumping to anywhere when you're on Microtech takes a very long time. So yeah, I think in the next patch, given that we have a new event coming in Pyro, I'm probably going to set my home station to somewhere in Pyro rather than Microtech and jumping all the time. Right, so let's head over to this asteroid mining base. These mining bases are also a new thing that came with 4.1.1, the current iteration of the public universe. There isn't much you can do here other than these missions, which is kind of a shame, really. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to...
You're in the right place. Stand by while I deploy your target.
That was our combat veteran giving us a heads up. Yeah, I was kind of hoping we might have more to do with these mining bases, but at the minute they're pretty much just used for these and a variety of other contracts that came in 4.1.
Contact. Ready up.
4.1.1. Anyway, on with the contract. So for this first one, we have 3 different waves, and we have a single ship of each wave, which is, these ships aren't difficult. You can pretty much do these, this particular contract, you can do this with any ship. As long as that ship has some guns, you'll be absolutely fine. You can probably do this in a Pisces or a Terrapin or anything of smaller size. As long as it's got some weapons, these will be very easy. I imagine that's probably why the payout for this mission is very low. Now, one thing to be aware of with Star Citizen, for those of you who are brand new to the game or haven't played it before, this game has been in development for about 14 years now, maybe a bit longer than that, and it has made quite a bit of money in development as well, so it is a very well-funded and a very long-term development game. Now, a lot of people will say that this is a very bad thing for the game. It could be construed that way. I know a lot of people have that kind of thought process. I'm not a game developer and I'm not an expert on anything to do with that, so I'm not really going to give much of an opinion on how long it's been developed for or anything like that. I'm basically just going to make you aware that this game is obviously still in alpha, so a lot of things that we're seeing here are very subject to change. This ship, the Anvil Arrow that I'm flying, could be completely different by the time the game is fully released.
All clear. Stand by for the next wave. It's going to be even tougher.
Oh, getting a few pop-ups at the top of my screen. I am still in a party with a few of my organisation members. For those of you who don't know, an organisation in Star Citizen is very similar to a guild from games like World of Warcraft and things like that. It's basically just a group of players who are playing together, and we kind of party up and do certain events and stuff like that. I was helping a few of them out with an event before I started recording this, and I didn't leave the party beforehand, so we will get the occasional pop-up for things that they're doing. But yeah, you might also see a few visual glitches as well every now and then. I have seen a few green flashes kind of come up every now and then whilst I've been flying these lighter fighters over the past few days. But again, it's a game that's still in development, so as long as I remember to fill out a bug report for those things and post it on their forums, then at least that way the developers can be made aware of any particular issues. But yeah, one thing we do have to be aware of is a lot of this stuff is going to be very subject to change. A lot of it could be completely different by the time it comes out. Okay. Thoroughly enjoy flying in an Anvil Arrow. It's a very quick, nimble and manoeuvrable ship. I do enjoy flying it. There is another video I'm hoping to get out hopefully today, it might have to be tomorrow, which is a slightly different style of combat. Which is, so when you're playing Star Citizen, there's obviously two main modes. Oh.
Catch your breath. The next one is on its way.
This veteran does like to pop in every now and then when you do something and give you a quick update or a quick message. We do have a new wave incoming as well, which will probably be another ship, possibly a MISC Prospector, I would imagine. Let's find out, shall we? Oh, that's a Drake Corsair. We definitely don't want to fight that. Let's leave that one alone. Yes, that looks like a MISC Prospector to me. A very hardy ship. The MISC ships can take a bit of a pounding before they get destroyed. But yes, my other video that I'm hoping to bring out maybe today, might have to be tomorrow. Today is the 2nd of June, so hopefully I'll get it out as soon as possible. The other video I want to do is Arena Commander, which is a different game mode on Star Citizen. So with Star Citizen, you've got the open world kind of sandbox MMO, which is what I'm doing at the minute. And then there is the Arena Commander as well, which is a variety of different combat scenarios that you can do, one of them being a pirate swarm, which is yourself and possibly other players, up to 4 other players that will be fighting off waves of pirate ships. Variety of different light fighters, medium, heavy. You even get to fight an Idris at the end of it, which is one of the biggest ships in the game right now. And yeah, I do that in Narrow, and I believe I get to about wave 8, which is taking on a Hammerhead, which is a very dangerous combat corvette. So yeah, I'll be able to showcase a few more of the combat mechanics. And one other thing I probably should have made most of you aware of is I am in no way an expert at dogfighting or ship-to-ship combat in Star Citizen. I am very much still an amateur finding my feet. But I do love the dogfighting mechanics, and I do love how it all works, so hopefully you'll be able to see and watch my progression over several months/years and see how much I can improve. I am happy to say that I have progressed past the stage of slamming into asteroids and hangars when I'm trying to land, so we are better than we were 6 months ago. Okay, we've managed to take the Prospector shields down, and we're trying to get as much body damage done to it as possible. We need to work on that hull health and get it down. His hull has just turned red though, so we have done a significant amount of damage. I can't imagine he's going to last for much longer. I think at the minute the pilot is more trying to just survive and get away rather than actually fight me, because he hasn't fired a shot for quite a while. So he must be on the brink of being finished. Not sure why I did that little corkscrew, wasn't exactly necessary. Hopefully this last burst should finish him off, and then we should be able to finish the contract as well. This is what I mean when I say that MISC ships are quite stout. There we go.
Congrats on completing another part of your course. You impressed the other pilots out there today. I'll see you when you're ready to continue your training.
And there we are. Combat Gauntlet Scenario 1 complete. We've just earned ourselves 20,000 credits, and we've also gained one of the MG scrip. Now, MG scrip is, there's 2 different types of scrip. You've got Mercenary Guild, you've got Council, which is earned in Pyro, and those scrip rewards, when you earn them, are sent to your home city or your home station's inventory. So I will have to go back to New Babbage and check the station's inventory in order to get those scrip. And we've just gone into the Mercenary contracts tab and picked up the second scenario, so we're going to head over and do that right now. Okay, let's head off towards our second scenario. Another mining base. It's kind of a shame that there's not much to do with these asteroid mining bases, but hopefully in the future they might add some more contracts that are based around these.
Welcome, Rook. We'll get started in a moment.
Okay, I do like that he calls me Rook because that is my account name. Oh, that's another contract being shared, so that is the party that I'm in. They are off doing their own contracts together, and I'm just declining them whenever they come up.
Looks like you got inbound. Weapons free.
Okay, so combat gauntlets scenario number 2. We are learning all about fighting multiple ships at once. Now, again, the combat veteran, I can't remember the guy's name. I really should learn his name. I feel a bit rude of me to not learn the guy's name whilst he's trying to teach me how to fly. But yeah, he will explain to you that you are fighting multiple ships in this scenario rather than just one at a time. Fortunately enough, we are fighting only one wave, so once you've defeated all 3 of these ships, you're all pretty much done and dusted. But you do have a variety of different ships to fight. I believe in this one we've got two Mustangs, which is the ship I'm shooting at now. A very manoeuvrable little ship, but doesn't have a huge amount of firepower. And I cannot remember what the third ship is. It might be a third Mustang, to be honest. Oh, we have managed to shoot this one's wing off. Now, for those of you who are new to Star Citizen or have never played before, you will notice that when I am using or aiming my crosshair at the target, you will notice the little red and or green circle that is just in front of the target. That is my targeting pip. So obviously, because these ships are constantly moving, I have to lead my target whilst shooting it. There we go, first Mustang down. Let's take on the second. Not sure where the third ship is. Maybe there's only 2. I'm pretty sure I saw 3 when we spawned in. Anyway, so yes, with the targeting pips, when you are aiming over the crosshair, you'll notice it turns green. And one thing you'll notice now is that I've just switched to all 4 guns rather than just the 2 laser repeaters, and I have gained a second targeting pip. So the laser repeaters is the smaller circle, which is closer to the ship, and then the kind of... they look a bit like a pair of brackets almost for the Gatling guns is a little bit further away, but only slightly. And that is because the different travel speeds and shooting speeds or the firing speeds of the actual guns that we have. So the laser repeaters are the fastest firing and the fastest travelling rounds that we have, so that's why that targeting pip is closer to the ship. Whereas the Gatling rounds are a little bit slower, so they have to be a little bit further away to allow us to actually hit the ship with them. Now the problem with that being that the further you are away from the target and the more like different types of guns that you have, it's going to be very difficult for you to hit the target with all of your guns, unless of course it's a very big target, of course. So against these smaller ships, I would usually recommend picking very similar types of guns. Okay, we took down the second Mustang, but I can't see the third target. Is this it over here, or is that the first Mustang we killed? Strange. I thought there were 3 ships. Oh, contract complete. Yep, we must have... the third ship must have been destroyed. That, or he probably crashed into the asteroid, which I'll take that all day. Okay, so this one we earned 3 of our Mercenary Guild scrip, which has been sent back to New Babbage. And now we need to go and pick up our third scenario. So back into the Mercenary tab, scroll down, looking for Combat Gauntlet scenario number 3. And I can't see it in the list. Did I miss it? Am I being blind? I don't think number 3 has showed up. So I can actually use this to explain some of the different types of contracts. So some contracts are shared between all players on the servers. There is one contract at the minute in the Priority tab called Hunt the Polaris. The Polaris is one of the big capital ships. And anyone on the server can take that mission, and pretty much everyone on the server can take that mission at the same time. It's just the monetary reward that we would get for completing that contract would be shared amongst all of the people who took it. So, but there are other contracts as well, like the combat scenarios that we're doing at the minute, which they will appear in everybody's contract tab, but the issue is that as soon as one person takes that contract, nobody else can take it. So it's basically first come, first serve. Now, they do have a pretty short respawn timer when it comes to contracts, so what I'm doing here is I'm constantly swapping between the offers and the accepted tag to try and refresh the contract list so that I can actually get it to show up. But that does mean that there is another player in the vicinity of Microtech who is also doing these combat gauntlets. Maybe it's another YouTuber like myself trying to record some content and I'm just stealing missions from him. But yeah, what I will do is I will constantly swap between offers and accepted to try and get to the scenario 3 to pop back in. So we're just waiting for that mercenary contract count to go from 17 to something higher. 18 obviously being the least, but I imagine there'll be some other contracts that might pop up as well. Ah, there we go. So we now have 23, and if we scroll right down to the bottom, we should have, there we go, contract scenario number 3. We need to go to another asteroid mining base. We will gain 5 mercenary guild script from this one, and 49,250 currency as well, which is a very nice amount for this level of mission. And hopefully the combat veteran will actually pop in and tell us what we need to do for this contract, because sometimes he doesn't pop up at all. Sometimes you'll take several contracts for these scenarios, you'll complete a whole bunch of them, you won't hear anything out of the instructor, and then you'll get out of your pilot seat at the end and all of the messages he was supposed to have sent will all come at once, which is...
Now that you're in position, we can start the lesson. Stand by.
There he is. Yeah, it is a bit of a pain. But again, the game is still in alpha, still in development, so that is the reason why there are still some smaller bugs and glitches that will...
Hostiles spotted. Give him what you got.
Will cause some minor issues. Okay, so in this scenario we are being taught about target priority. So there are 2 waves that we need to face. The first wave is going to be a single ship, which should be a slightly more dangerous combat ship than the Mustangs that we fought in the last one. There he is. It's an F7. So yeah, the F7 is slightly more dangerous than the Mustangs that we faced in the previous contract. Now in this first wave we're only facing the F7. I'm going to turn all 4 guns on to fight them because F7s are, or can be, particularly dangerous. And then in the second wave we will be sent 3 ships to fight against, but what we will have to do is focus on prioritizing this F7 that will pop up again. So there will be another wave after this that will spawn with 3 ships. There will be another one of this ship in that wave, and we will need to prioritize that ship first. Oh my lord, that was very close. Wow, okay, we almost wiped out on that asteroid there. That would not have been very good. Quite embarrassing to wipe out during the middle of a combat scenario. Boom, there goes the F7.
Clear up, but I got more coming your way.
Let's just switch to our Panthers only and finish off that F7 to get rid of the ship corpse. Try and keep the server nice and clean. There we go. So the problem with persistent servers is sometimes you will... lots of ship corpses will slow the server down and make it a bit buggy, so usually try and destroy your ships fully when you're finished with the mission, just to make sure they get cleaned up. Right, here we go. Here is the F7, and we have 2, I believe, 2 MISC prospectors as well. Now, the prospectors, because they're a mining ship, they are not dangerous, really. They have a couple of smaller guns on them, so I'm really not concerned about fighting them. The F7 is the priority target for this combat gauntlet, so we want to make sure we take that down first, and then we can work on the 2 prospectors. And we have just run out of ammo on our Gatling guns on the top, so we are going to have to switch to just Panthers. It will make this mission take a little bit longer because we don't have any. We probably just lost about half of our damage. But that is the problem with using ballistic weapons, is that they only come with a set amount of ammo, and there is no way to reload apart from going back to a station. So we are just going to have to deal with it. That's why ballistics are not very favoured right now amongst the PvP community. Come on, little F7. Stop trying to dodge me and just let me shoot you. Come on. Give me that targeting pip. There we go. I have to say that the range of CF weapons, the Panther Repeater, which is the one I'm using now, we've got badgers, we've got galderines, we've got rhinos, all different sizes. There we goes. They are my favourite weapon right now, especially in smaller ship and PvP combat, because they are very, very easy to hit the target with. Very good at keeping players' shields down, but obviously the damage of them is particularly low. Just going to reverse a bit and fire a missile or two at this prospector, try and take it down as quick as possible. Seem to be closing the distance. They're not going to let me fire any more missiles, so I'm going to close the gap myself. Try and get as close as possible and allow even more laser rounds to hit the target. Again, you can see they are hitting my shields. The little cross-section image at the top left of my screen, that is my ship with the shields. You can see the kind of box shape around it is the actual shields themselves. And whenever they get hit, they do flash red. And whenever damage hits my actual ship and rather than the shields, my ship will flash red as well. It is the same with the cross-section on the right-hand side for the prospector. Now what I did just there was I looked behind my ship because I was going full reverse in order to fire a missile. But unfortunately the prospectors were going too fast for me to actually get a proper lock on them, so I just switched back and closed the gap again. Now, in order to look behind you when you're flying your ship, all you need to do is press the comma on your keyboard, if you're using a keyboard. If not, you might have rebound it to something else on your joystick or your control pad, if you're using either of those inputs. But if you are using a standard mouse and keyboard and you haven't rebounded the key, it is the comma key on your keyboard, and that will allow you to look behind your ship. Particularly good if you prefer flying decoupled in combat, which is something I would recommend learning if you want to get better at ship-to-ship combat. Learning decoupled flight is a huge improvement for your movement. It will allow you to move a bit more freely and to dodge more shots and stuff like that. So yeah, I would highly recommend learning decoupled flight, but it is a pain. You will find that for the first few days you're going to be slamming into just about everything, because decoupled is essentially removing your auto slowdown mechanic on your ship, which means that you will have to be aware that your ship will be constantly moving unless you stop it yourself. I quite like using it, especially if you're jousting, so if you've got two ships that are going head to head and you fly past each other. One of the things I do like doing is being decoupled so that I keep my momentum, and then I rotate my ship to face the ship behind me, fire a missile, and then close the gap and use the guns. But obviously, because I am flying backwards and cannot see behind me at all times, if I press that comma key, I can see what's behind me in case I'm about to slam my back end into an asteroid or something like that. There we go, got a missile away, and we hit him. Perfect. Didn't do a huge amount of damage, but we did hit the ship. We have done a bit of damage to its health. The shields are still up though, but let's just work those down. There we go, shields are down, let's deal some body damage and get this guy finished. Come on, let's take him down. Get that pip green, please. There we go. There is gimbaled mode as well. If those of you who don't know, gimbaled mode is essentially, if you can see the little arrow that is coming away from my crosshair, which is, that's what I'm doing with my mouse. That's how I'm adjusting my movement and my positioning with my crosshairs. Gimbaled mode essentially makes that crosshair in the middle of your screen follow your mouse. So your ship guns can have a bit of a gimbaled mode, which means that you can track targets a bit easier. I think it's a lot better for fighting smaller fighters, especially if you're in a larger ship. But the downside to gimbaled mode is that you do fire slower, so your damage is reduced ever so slightly because you're not firing as quick. But again, if you're fighting a lot of smaller ships, it can be very nice having gimbaled mode on, just to make it a bit easier for your targeting. I would much rather hit quite a few shots slower rather than not hitting any shots at all, because the ships are too quick for me to actually aim at. Right, come on, Mr. Prospector. Go down, please. You can't have a huge amount of health left. I'm telling you, these MISC ships, they make them very sturdy. They build them to last. They don't like to go down very quickly, do they? Then again, it's a mining ship. I suppose it does have to have some kind of armor to it if the rock that it's mining explodes. Can't have a ship that just blows up straight away. Come on, come on, come on. Almost got him. Cannot have a huge amount of health left now. Come on. There we go. Objective complete, and that should be contract complete as well. That's the second wave, and we should get... Beautiful, there we go, contract complete. And I think I shall call the video here. So thank you everybody for watching. This has been Gillys 1, 2 and 3, and in our next video we shall do some more, possibly 4, 5 and 6. So thank you everybody for watching, and I shall catch you in the next episode.